The autumn wind whispered through the dry cornfields when Emily staggered back from the town's dusty road, her arms filled with groceries. She was quiet, reserved, and often overlooked by those around her. The people in town saw her as nothing more than that farm girl, the shy woman who rarely spoke above a whisper. What they didn't know was that Emily carried a story of strength, one deeply hidden beneath her gentle smile. But bullies never cared about the truth. 3 local men, known troublemakers, had made it their mission to harass her whenever she came into town. They mocked her clothes, her silence, even the way she walked. That afternoon, when they spotted her struggling with heavy bags, they saw an opportunity for cruelty. "Hey, farm girl," one of them sneered, blocking her path. "Where's your big strong man? Or are you always this weak?" Emily kept her head low, praying they'd let her pass. But instead, they grabbed the groceries from her arms, laughing as eggs cracked onto the dirt and milk spilled into the dust. Before she could react, they dragged her toward the edge of the woods, ignoring her desperate pleas. Moments later, Emily found herself tied to a tree, the coarse rope biting into her wrists. She tried to stay calm, but fear tightened her chest. The men circled her like predators, throwing insults, laughing at her helplessness. They didn't know. They didn't know who she was married to. With trembling fingers, Emily managed to tug her phone from her pocket before they tied her completely. Hidden behind her back, she pressed one button, just one. Her lifeline. Her husband's number was on speed dial. The call went through. Miles away, deep inside a military training facility, Staff Sergeant Daniel Hayes, her husband, was reviewing mission briefs. A man forged in fire, a Delta Force operator who had seen the worst of humanity. His phone vibrated once, then went silent. The signal was clear. That was the call they had agreed on, the one she'd only use if she was in real danger. Daniel's heart dropped. Without hesitation, he bolted from the room. Back in the woods, the bullies were still jeering when Emily's fear slowly began to transform into something else, hope. Because she knew Daniel. She knew he would come. And he did. Minutes later, the roar of a black SUV echoed down the dirt road, gravel spraying as it screeched to a halt. The bullies froze, their laughter cut short as a tall figure emerged. Daniel's presence was commanding, broad shoulders, stone-cold eyes that burned with fury. The air shifted. "What's going on here?" His voice boomed, deep and steady. The men tried to laugh it off. "Relax, man, we were just joking around with your wife." But Daniel's glare silenced them instantly. He moved with terrifying calm, untying Emily first, whispering, "You're safe now," before turning his attention back to the men. "You think it's funny to tie a defenseless woman to a tree?" His voice was controlled, but the rage underneath was unmistakable. "You picked the wrong woman. The wrong day. The wrong husband." One of the bullies tried to puff his chest, but Daniel stepped forward, and within seconds, the soldier's training took over. A precise, calculated takedown left the man gasping on the ground. The other 2 stumbled backward, pale and shaking. They had never seen such controlled power. "You're going to remember this moment," Daniel said coldly. "And you're going to leave her alone. Forever." Fear etched into their faces, the bullies scrambled away, their pride broken, their cruelty exposed as cowardice. Daniel turned back to Emily, gently brushing dirt from her cheek. His tough exterior softened instantly. "I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner," he whispered. Tears welled in Emily's eyes as she leaned into him. "You came. That's all that matters." That night, back at their farmhouse, Emily sat on the porch with Daniel. The stars spread wide across the country sky, silent witnesses to the bond between them. For years, she had lived quietly, letting others underestimate her, letting them think she was fragile. But now she realized that strength didn't always have to roar. Sometimes, it was in endurance, in surviving cruelty, and in knowing when to call for help. Daniel reached for her hand, holding it firmly. "You're stronger than you think," he said softly. Emily smiled, tears still glistening. "And I'm never alone." From that day forward, no one in town dared to mock or lay a hand on her again. Not because they feared Daniel, though they did, but because they finally saw Emily for who she truly was, a woman of quiet strength, whose courage, combined with her husband's unyielding love, made her unstoppable. And so, the shy farm girl, once tied to a tree, became a living reminder that true power doesn't always scream. It stands tall, endures the storm, and rises when tested.